All right, so there was one little thing I did at the end of the last video where I selected this edge and then basically just used an extrude operation to duplicate it. And then I just scooted it down, which I was able to do because this whole section there is just one thickness there. So now I just need to connect everything up, and I'm going to speed up the video for that process as well. But it's going to be, it's not as compliant when you try to like connect stuff. Like you can see as I'm holding shift, it doesn't really understand that these are the same thing. So I'm probably going to need to use a little bit of bridging here, but I'll wait until I can get as much done with the regular old quadra as possible. And then we're never going to be able to see the inside of this face, this whole internal area there. So I'm going to be a lot more aggressive with triangles than I was on the outside. So look for that. All right, so hopefully that was pretty clear what I was doing there. I was mostly just using bridge, and there were a couple little spots where I had some extra geometry that I didn't need, like down in here. We needed that extra edge loop to support this this bevel, but we don't really care about it over here, and it just adds extra weight. So those edges were collapsed. I just moved the verts and then did a merge. And there are a few other little scenarios, like this long triangle here. It's very unlikely that there will be any kind of artifacting going on up here as a result of it, but it is possible. So I had some other scenarios where there was something similar happening here and like maybe over there. So again, we're just gonna have to wait and see how this bakes. It's probably going to be fine. We don't get a good shot of that. It's not very visible, but we can always come back and make adjustments if necessary. And in the next video, I am going to demonstrate how we're going to use this geometry here. It looks like I'm missing an edge. To get a jump start on the other piece. Even though it is a little bit different, it's still most of the same, so we should be able to save some time by reusing this. So we got a few minutes left in this video. Let's go ahead and take a look at that process. I don't know which one it is, so I'm going to go ahead and show it, and then it's going to be one of these. I'll hide unselected. Don't need that. And there's the high poly on the left. We also don't need that. There's our low. I'm going to go ahead and rename this. To match its, whoops, its high poly name. And then we can just duplicate it, and I'm going to rename it right. then we can rename this one right high and scoot this up underneath it. And so there's going to be some screws here probably. Let's see what we got. I don't have to worry about any of the blade stuff. So in this case we do have these inset pieces, those little sections right there, because I guess this little clip is interchangeable. So I'm just deciding whether or not I want to have this as a separate piece. I think I'll just build it in. So we'll go ahead and combine all this stuff. I probably should have waited for the combine before I did my rename, but we'll go and delete by history. And then I think I probably still have that in my clipboard. All right. So what I'm going to do now is mirror this over. We'll just probably do a very simple scale operation because the pivot should be right in the middle at the origin. If I turn on the grid, display grid, we can see that these two heavier lines here, which indicate the middle of the scene, are right between these two sides. So I should be pretty safe to just do a negative scale on this. We'll go to channel box. You can see it's very close to -1. We just set that to -1. And then do a freeze transformations. And then I'm going to hide all the rest of this stuff here. Actually, you know what? Because I'm going to have to do that one anyway as a separate piece, I'm just going to mirror that one over for this. So we're going to separate that out. Forgot about that. Probably just combine these two, really. And let's see. I think when you do a separate like that, it's gonna actually it might isolate the operation to just the thing that you have selected, but I have a feeling it might have split off the Oh, okay. I was just checking the screws are still there, but I can't see it because I guess I could have gone to wireframe. But all right. So to reiterate what I was just doing there is I separated out that little bolt thing, and I wasn't sure if it also separated the screws that I want to keep as part of the main iPod there, but it didn't. So we're good to go. Okay. So now what I'm going to need to do is reuse as much of this as I can. So that circle we can use, this is going to have to be all torn out, and we don't need that little hole there. And then we'll just make the back kind of reflect whatever our new geometry is going to need to be. So to make the back stuff a little bit easier, I think I'm going to, we'll just delete it. So I'll go to the top view, let me go to face mode. So it looks like it actually, oh, that's the high poly. Whoops, I was going to say, so whenever you see these triangles, that's a little bit of a red flag. Mostly because I didn't really add that many triangles. And I need to clean up my outliner here as well. All right, so there's the low. Let me just delete the history on this so it's not so messed up over here. Delete by type history. So that gets a little bit cleaner. And then I can just pop it out of this empty group. Grab the name. We'll go ahead and rename it. Okay, now I can delete those faces there. So I basically just do a drag select over all of it, and then I deselect. I'm not super worried about that because that feature isn't there anyway. Cool. All right, so in the next video, we will continue with the retop process on this piece.